everyone, it's Erica back on the New YouTube channel. I know, so soon again, woohoo! Hopefully you'll think it's a treat, because today we are going to embrace the fact that the holidays are literally around the corner. I have been in denial far too long, and I've been putting this off because I live in the south of Spain, so it's actually sunny and a smidge cold, but sunny and green still, so it's kind of hard to get into the holiday spirit. However, I thought we would put a couple of cards together using a very, very simple color scheme. We're not going to go crazy with like greens and yellows and reds and blues and whatever have you. We are going to do white and gold. That's it. Maybe a smidge of silver, because I wanted to use some of the pigment ink for using some of the press plates, but I only have platinum, silver, and bronze. And so I have actually tried using silver on this gorgeous Terrazzo something texture plate. And look at that beautifulness. Oh, loving that. But if you don't want to use ink, you could just use the plate as a embossing plate and then splatter some gold on top, you know, for a very, very simple look. If you're not into that kind of look, then there's also this one using this gorgeous kind of like wood grain press plate. And I have, again, just kind of used it as an embossing plate and to kind of create that sort of texture as well. But I think we might use this side actually, because it's just more beautiful on this side. So I think we're going to use that side. Now, if you don't have the Letterpress system, but you have a die cutting machine, you can always use an embossing folder. And I mean, you can't get more sort of like cozy and wintry than the Cozy Sweater 3D embossing folder. Am I right or what? So we are going to take these 4 panels and we are going to have a little bit of a mix and match, and we are going to kind of chop and add some instant dimension foam tape, which if you're sending the cards, you might want to skip. But if you're hand delivering these, go to town. Honestly, go to town. It's going to look fabulous. And then we are going to top these with some die cut word sentiments. So these ones are gorgeous, first of all, but they are from the Timeless Sentiment 3 set. So we got Shine Bright, Peace and Joy, Believe, and All is Calm. So for one, it's going to say Shine Bright. Oops, there we go. And there is a little dot for that as well. We also have Peace and Joy. This might go, so this one is done out of Citrine glitter cardstock. This one is the brushed gold metallic cardstock, which is my favorite. I am obsessed with it. Yes, but on this one here, we might go Peace and Joy. Now there are also like shadow pieces here, so we'll see if that kind of makes them stand out a little bit more. And then also you can always like prop these up a lot easier than if you're just using the words themselves. So we're gonna have a little play around and see what we can create. But there's going to be a little bit of embellishments. We're going to use some fun things to kind of just make these sparkle up. And I think we're actually going to take this one away. Yeah, but I just wanted to show you what it would look like if you're using the BetterPress system to like letterpress with ink. And I do think that this would look absolutely fabulous with the gold pigment ink. But seeing as I don't have it, oh, poor me. Oh, maybe I'll need to ask Santa for that. Then we are going to go with these 3 cards or backgrounds now. So there is also potentially using one of these wax seals that is left over from my previous video, which was just a few days ago, where I've actually gone for a very pink color scheme. But I made this as well, and it just kind of, you know, makes sense to use it. So we shall see what happens here. But the key thing is essentially we're going to do some very, very easy mass-produce friendly designs and things that you can, you know, prepare all your bits and pieces together. So if you're planning on, say you just want to go for this super simple, very classic, elegant as well, if I may say so myself, then I would suggest you cut out all of your word pieces, all of your shadow pieces, glue them all together. So die cut everything first, glue everything first, get your BetterPress or your die cutting machine, make sure you check the folder or the instructions. So I have the Spellbinders Platinum one. So to do a or to use a press plate as a embossing plate, essentially, you use platform A and platform B, which is this one, and then you put your paper and the actual plate on, and then you use the soft embossing mat, which is this kind of tan colored one, and then the blue adapter plate here. So that is something to bear in mind. Make sure you check your die cutting machine so you don't break anything. But then, so that is essentially like all of the kind of top tips when it comes to mass producing a card. So it's, now that we got that all out of the way, let's get on with it. Right, so I wanted to show you a technique that doesn't require any tools whatsoever. It just requires your hands and maybe a little bit of patience. Now, you're going to need some paper, but don't go for like your really thick cardstock, the one that you usually make card bases from. Make sure that you go for something quite thin. So this is like printer paper. And then all we're going to do is we're going to roll this up. We're going to like literally scrunch it up like that. And then we're going to unfold and we're going to scrunch it again. And you're probably thinking, this girl is crazy, but just bear with me. Just bear with me. Okay, so we're going to scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. And like really just get it in there. Like maybe mush it a little bit as well. And then what we're going to do, and I know this is not going to look very pretty right now, but we're going to take this and, oh, this bit here is pretty nice, isn't it? But we're going to scrunch up a little bit more because we're going to like look at all the details here now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trim this down. There we go. There's okay, so it's not going to be exactly 5.5 because it is, you know, scrunched down, but we're going to try to kind of trim it so that it is roughly 5.5 by 4.25 inch. Okay, and then this is going to be our background. Now, what you can do here is if you want a little something like a little bit of like color or, you know, just shimmer, either use some gold splatters on there. You can take an pigment ink pad. That's a little bit of a tongue twister there. And you just very, very gently kind of rub it on top, or just kind of like dab a little bit. Or if you want to leave it just white, just leave it like that. And then the idea is we're going to take this And it's going to be kind of like our snowy background. And then to make sure that we have something that will actually support our sentiment, we are going to take a little piece of paper. This is actually a 4.25 and 5.5 inch piece of paper. So we're gonna chop this at an angle. So we don't want too big, but we should probably decide which one we're gonna use first. So maybe we'll do believe, because it's not going to take up too much space here. So we're going to trim this down like this. And on the back of this, we're going to add a little bit of instant dimension foam tape, because layers is life. And then we're going to pop this onto there. And then we're going to glue this down. But what we're going to do is we're going to take some double-sided tape, like the ultra sticky double-sided tape. We're going to put some up here. We're not going to push down all of the edges. So you're going to get this glorious kind of like texture and very like tactile card. And then on top of this, we're going to have our believe. But I'm wondering if we splatter a little bit of gold on this one, just to bring in a little bit of the glamour. And you know what, I'm gonna do that right now, because this is gonna look fab. But I'm wondering, no, so I'm just gonna splatter a little bit of gold on this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so here is our little piece with some glorious splatter on them. So on the back of this piece, as I said, we're going to add some instant dimension foam tape, and on the back of this one, we are going to just add a bit of the ultra sticky tape here. Okay. So this is a super simple idea, which you can get the kids involved in. If you have, you know, even if you have older kids, you know, they might be up for like scrunching some paper and tossing them your way, and then they can say, oh, we've been part of the card making process. But this is something that is just so simple, yet can be so fun. There we go. Okay, so it kind of looks like a snow hill, doesn't it? Yeah. So on the back of this, we're just going to make sure that this is dry. I think so. And we're going to add some instant dimension foam tape. And I just need to find the beginning. There we go. And then we might add some bling to this as well, just because we can. Kind of like drifting snow. That would be cool, wouldn't it? There I go again, tooting my own horn when I have these little ideas. But, you know, when would I ever say no to sparkles and gems? Especially when it comes to like the holidays, you know? Okay. So there we go. Now, I think it's going to look really nice if we add a little bit of instant dimension foam tape to the back of this as well, just to give it a little bit of a, like, up. So we're going to need to be a little bit careful here, because it is just a tiny bit sort of too big. So we can't just do like one continuous strip, but one little snip here, and then we are done. So oh, although could that be? No, we're gonna add this here. So we're gonna try to get this on reasonably straight, because even though, you know, we're making handmade cards, we're not doing Hallmark, it's not gonna be perfect. We still want it to be somewhat straight, don't we? Now, I feel like we could do the clear iridescent ones on this, just to kind of make it look like it's snowing. So we're going to go quite a lot to these, I think, because, you know, it very rarely snows like 2 or 3 little snowflakes, does it? So I am going to speed this up, because otherwise we'll be here all day, because I do tend to over embellish a little bit. Right, so here is our finished card, and yeah, maybe it is a little bit, you know, a smidged over bling, but hey, there we go. Okay, so next up, let's use this fabulous background. Now we can either do something super simple. We're just gonna go bang right in the middle, shine bright. That is the card. We could do this, but I don't think we're going to. So, can we do a 2-for-1? Yes, we can. So, we're going to take this and we are going to chop it, and we are going to try to do kind of very evenly. So we have 2 panels or 2 parts, and each one of these are obviously going to go onto a card base. So we've got one here, and just for sort of, we could do like 2 different ones. So we go shine bright here, and then peace and joy. So very simple, super simple actually. And we're going to do one flat, just so that you see, you know, I can do things without instant dimension foam tape. I sometimes feel like I have to kind of prove that, because I do use it almost excessively because it is such fabulous stuff. Now, because of the texture, you are probably going to have to add a little bit more glue than you might normally, because you're going to have to help the raised parts that are going to face the card. They obviously need to have the glue on there so that they can actually stick to the card base. So there is quite a lot of glue here in the corner. I'm going to try to stretch that out a little bit. And then I'm going to try to make sure that I get an even cover here. And then we're going to very gently set this down. Now, the plus side of having liquid glue is obviously that you can get this straight. So if you realize now all of a sudden, oh, it's not straight, you do have a few extra seconds where you can, you know, shift things around a little bit and save your project. So we're going to glue down our sentiment very flat as well. So here we're just going to pop this down, and I might surprise everyone, including myself, and step away. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to put this one away. No, we're going to have a quick little look. And look at that gorgeous texture there. Whew, okay, now with this one, oh no, we are not going to go flat. No, we're not. So we're going to grab our instant dimension foam tape again. Yes, we are. And we're going to add some here onto our pieces. So obviously we want it to be quite steady, because there's nothing kind of sadder than a sagging card, you know, when you're taking all of that time to, you know, make a beautiful design, and then all of a sudden the bits and pieces just kind of like fold in on themselves. So we are not going to have that happen today. No siree. So here we go. Okay, and then we need a little bit more right there. So all right, okay, now we might as well stick this a little bit down as well. Waste not, want not, right? So here we are now getting 2 cards out of 1 panel. So this is also like, if you are mass producing and you're in a hurry, you need to get cards out, this is a great way of doing it, and it just adds a little bit of like a fun little like look to your cards as well. But also, if you're in a hurry, I would suggest skipping the instant dimension foam tape, because it does add a little bit of time to your projects. So if you are in a hurry, just maybe skip the foam tape and just go straight for flat cards. Because also if you're mailing them, you know, you don't want anything to get stuck and ruined whilst they're going through those mailing machines. So with this one, we are going to have to puzzle a little bit more because of the way that the die cut is like set up. So I think here we can probably just about make it. I'm going to take this little piece here. Like on the back of this, it looks horrendous. So it looks really bad, but nobody will see this. So it doesn't matter that it looks crazy on the back. Just keep on going. Okay, so we have a little bit left over. So I'm gonna pop these onto the backing and they will do really well for another word die cut, which I'm surely gonna do. So here we go. Now you will probably notice on this card that it is a little bit wonky, but we're gonna embrace it because, like I said, we are not doing Hallmark cards, we are doing handmade cards. Yes. So here we can probably trim off this bit here a little bit just to kind of give it a little bit of a straighter edge. But on the other side of the card, there's going to be a tiny bit of a gap there. But you know what? People are hopefully going to be so mesmerized by the shine that they're going to think, wow, that's gorgeous. But you know what? We might rein it in at 3. What do you think? So here's one. Here's our second. So this is our 2 for 1s. And here's our super simple, you know, do it yourself texture card. Are we gonna leave it at that? Yes, we are. Okay. Wow, I can't believe how much white space there is on these cards because I am normally so bad with white space, but I think the texture and a little bit of that sparkle really makes a difference. So hopefully you will have enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a crazy roller coaster ride. However, hopefully you have taken something from this video that has made you feel very inspired to get those cards done, like die cut, prepped, assembled, written, sealed, and delivered. And with that, I'm all done for today. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Do let me know what you thought about this one down in the comments below, and I will see you very soon again. Bye for now.
Hello there. Did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Alternate YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.